ending. No, far from it. There's no limit to what we can accomplish. Next year, we have to get together and celebrate our complete world domination.
World domination!
Yeah! More than any other generation in history, we have a chance to leave here today and change the world!
Yeah, right. We're out of maple bacon bars.
Why do you think college is important?
Because it's like a step into the real world. Like it prepares you to what you should expect when after you graduate, and it kind of helps you figure out exactly what you want to do instead of...
What are your opinions of college, or why do you think college is important?
I think college is important because it gives you a better insight on your field, the field you want to work in. And
Why do you think college is important?
You can further your experiences and learn for your profession in the future and build upon your career that you plan on continuing on.
So why do you think college is important?
Well, I think college is important because in this day and age, you can't really do much without a degree, and like nowadays, like you can't get like a really decent job without like you need more than a bachelor's degree and everything. And it's just what was bred into me that like you're supposed to, graduate, go to school, go to college, get married, have kids, and go about your life.
So why do you think college is important?
College is important because I feel like you can get a career out of it.
Why do you think college is important?
College is important because you need to further your education so that you'll be able to survive in the world we live in today.
Why do you think college is important?
I think college is important because it helps you better yourself in your career in your field, and you get more understanding of what you want to study.
Why do you think college is important?
College is important because in this day and age you can't really go far in life with a career without one. Most companies require a college degree as opposed to someone who does not have a college degree.
Why do you think college is important?
I think college is important because it's a stepping stone to the rest of your life.
I think I've been having a hard time looking for jobs because I feel like there's not many options out there, and I'm competing with so many different kinds of people who have different levels of education. And people with PhDs are looking for the jobs I'm trying to get, because the jobs that are meant for them aren't available. So that makes it harder for people like me coming out with a master's, trying to get a job.
Job.
Yeah.
What do you think is going wrong? What do you think is the problem?
There's no jobs. Everyone tells us to go to school and get your degree and you'll get a good job, and then what happens when everybody does it? There's no more jobs.
I work with people who are in the process of getting their education. So really undergraduate students. And not that it's frustrating, but it's tedious work. And I feel like I can definitely be using my time towards something more productive, something that I can use my brain. I'm really aching for a job where I can just work and learn. Where I'm working now, I'm not really learning that much, or there's nothing new to me.
Yes, I got tired of working little part-time jobs, so I figured I'll go back into school and do something where I can get certified to work in a health field, so I'll get a little bit closer to where I want to be. So right now I'm in school to become a certified surgical technician.
I mean, be realistic. Looking back, see, when I went to college, we didn't think. You didn't think of what was going to happen when you got out. You merely, you were there, you were studying, or you were having a good time, or whatever. We didn't really think, of what was going to happen when we graduated. I guess we just thought there were going to be jobs there for us.
And I think that that's the attitude of today's generation as well, but it's just that there are no jobs to even play with like that.
No. As I say, the field is getting flooded with people.
The economy in New Jersey, of course, isn't as good as New York or many of the other states. So I'm sure that has some things to do with it. And I think sometimes when students read all about that, they become complacent and don't utilize the things that are available to them. They also become frightened. It's a scary thing to think you're graduating and you don't have a job, or you're here and you just want to do better and maybe get a job. So sometimes I think that also comes into play.
So what you're saying is that you think that the hoopla of there not being jobs sometimes creates a issue in the student's mind before they're even addressed with the problem.
Right.
I think the bigger, there are two parts of it. Graduates, even now, are entering into an economy where the number of people who are participating in the labor force is shrinking anyway. So there are lots of things that we see, like the number of jobs and things like that that are out there are not in the type of fields that a lot of us got our educations in. So that's part of the issue. And then part of the issue too is that I've noticed this a lot with my peers, is that they are putting themselves through college, and when they work, they're working in retail, they're working in places where they're not using the skills that they're getting. So they're leaving school with experience in a field that isn't necessarily where they want to be, and sometimes feeling stuck because the economy isn't great and the job market isn't great and there aren't a ton of jobs out there where they want to be. So that feeling of being stuck and all that, I think it is very, very real.
Story. The underemployment rate for recent grads is more than 18%. So those are graduates with degrees, and they're working as waitresses and waiters and babysitting. Yeah, it's a huge percentage. The average debt upon graduation, nearly $25,000, but a third of recent grads are making less than $25,000 a year. So how are you supposed to raise a family, buy a car, move out of your parents' house, and buy a house, right?
I think the bigger issue is the financial one. Universities cost too much. Universities themselves are too large. They have really, really extended themselves beyond where they probably should have been. We have the idea that, the right path for every student, we treat every student as if the path is, okay, you have high school and this thing that we've told you should do, and that's going to be more or less free to you, although the quality is going to vary. But now you're expected to go and invest yourself in a bunch of loans to get a bachelor's degree, and that's kind of expected, and you're not going to get any job that you've dreamt of or any job that you've won. If you're not going to create that and create the business on your own and kind of create the demand for that, then you need the BA, but we're not going to pay for that, or we're not going to structure that in a way that makes economic sense. We're going to allow the universities to drive it, and at the university, the people who really care about education, all that, tend not to be the same people who are deciding how much stuff costs at the university. So you end up with $100,000 in loans as a student for what might be a great education, but if we're saying that it's necessary at the same time, then I would say that the government needs to do better to make the degree more affordable.
I do live at home, and I actually don't feel that sad about it or bad in any way, because there's so many people of my age, so many people that I know that are still at home, older than me, younger than me, same grade, whatever.
Do you think that's connected to the issues of being jobless and underpaid in America?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these people that I'm referring to, it's not like they don't have jobs, They may be in school, they may be working really good jobs too. But just the thought of either paying rent or paying for a house on top of everything else, on top of student loans, on top of paying for your car, gas to go to work, all that stuff, it just doesn't make any sense for me or people my age to live on their own.
And do you still live at home?
Yes, I do.
Do you feel insecure that you haven't found the job that will enable you to live away from home yet?
I do. Constantly, I do feel that way. But I always say that everyone's gone through their own battle after college. No one's had it perfect, and I'm pretty sure they all go through their thing before they get to where they want to be. I have many friends who were able to move out of home, and they're doing a steady job. And I have friends who are still at home, too.
I think that's an awful thing to have to face. I remember my own children graduating school and having debt, but today's students have a greater debt than before. What can we do about it? I think the Gainful Employment Act is something that's going to come in the future. It's here already with some of the private schools, and universities will be speaking to the issue. Is the cost of tuition comparable to the type of job and the money that they're receiving? So those things are being addressed now by the government, and it's something that we seriously look at. It's something that we have a concern as well.
Jobs in?
Because I don't think people want to put out the money for that. They're finding ways to have technology take care of a lot of the things. You know, you're saying you want to do media. You know, they're finding ways that technology will take over, and you know, in that specific way, and so they don't want to have to pay people to do that stuff. You know, and in regards to, you know, foreign parents wanting their kids to, you know, be professionals, it's a bit intimidating. You know, my dad has like 3 masters and he has his PhD. My mom has her master's. So you're trying to live up to their expectations, but at the same time, I think it's important that you find something that you love. As much as my mom preaches about finding a good job that pays well, she also preaches about finding something that you love to do. She's a pharmacist, and it's not something that she was forced to do. It's something that she loves. So yes, it's professional, but it's also something that she's dreamed about doing, you know, prior to coming to America. So I'm inspired by that, but I also keep in mind that I know that my field probably will not generate as much money as I would like.
I've been fine finding other clients. I think it's indicative of the bigger issue that's going on, which is really the idea that we're not totally sure what higher ed is anymore. And we're probably having too many people in these programs where the end result is a degree that really isn't providing a level of knowledge that's necessary to do the sort of jobs that are out there.
Well, I do know that those complaints are coming from the employers. I see it in the newspaper. I see it in associations that I belong to. And you see it almost when you are watching students even walking along or talking. Sometimes they're texting their friend that's just across the way. So they're not communicating with people. And that does come across during an interview. My background's HR. So I did a lot of hiring before, and I can see that the soft skills today are very different than they were when I worked in the business field. Problem solving is something else, critical thinking that comes up. Working on a team, students seem to be more working by themselves, not working with teamwork. Certain types of majors do have that teamwork aspect.
Do you think that the students of this generation are lacking in those areas?
Yes, I think so in many ways. I mean, it's a fault of a number of things. Part of it is technology. The communication interpersonal communication is not what it once was. I mean, because you tend to go, I mean, I'm talking like the almost 60-year-old, you know, you're seeing Facebook or Twitter or something, and we're communicating with texting and stuff like that. You're not doing a face-to-face, learning how to address people, learning how to deal with people. People skills and communication skills, some you can learn, some you're born with. I always tell people, I've done lectures on customer service, and I say, I can teach you all kinds of techniques, but you are a people person or you're not a people person. You know, I can teach you things to do, but you'll never be sincere if you're not really geared to people. And I think that's something you have to know about yourself when you go job hunting, when you're going into the field. You have to know, you know, is this something that I'm good at? Can I deal? I mean, I realized I was good with people. I can deal well with people, but some people can't. And then you have to gear yourself that way too. Even in the library field, there are some people who, you know, belong in it. You can go into an archive and not deal with people at all, you know, well, or hardly ever deal with people. But
advice or encouragement.
Thank you. I really wish I could reach out to a number of students to say, please come see us in the Career Development Center. It's important that we give you help in this particular area. I think we talked about the career fair. We had several companies looking for people in the communication area. So if you come see us in the Career Development Department, we can help point you out that direction. But I'm also going to say to you, there's some things you certainly can do on your own, and networking is one of them. You have your friends, you have your friends' parents, you have your parents, their friends. There's a lot of people that you can be communicating with and networking with. Networking is not just one-sided. When you're networking, you're offering your help too, and you're also somehow thanking the people that are that you're working with. But networking is a two-sided coin, and you need to understand. You need to understand that it can't be that you walk up to somebody's parent and just saying, "I'm looking for a job," and "Do you know anybody?" Because they can't help you. And what that does is almost put up a wall that says, I want to help her, but I don't know of any jobs. If you ask for advice, their mind is open and they're going to remember you. So that if they do hear something, they're going to pick up the phone and call you. Never ask for a job.
One thing, because I've only been working here 4 years, and so I was in the job market myself. Be persistent. I know people. Be persistent, and another thing is, you may have to take a job that's not exactly what you're looking for. Don't be too particular. I have friends. I have a friend who's still out of work. I mean, he's almost my age. I don't know what he's going to do. But because every time I'd say, "Oh, here's a job for you," you know, I found it in the paper, or I found it through the library website, and he'd say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to do that." Don't be too picky. At first, you may take a job that's okay, it's low, and maybe it doesn't pay what you want. You get your foot in the door. You can work your way. If it's a decent corporation, you can work your way up.
Words? Just keep pushing. And that's what I tell my friends who are looking for jobs or trying to get into their master's programs or, you know, whatever they're doing. And it's sad, you know, because people are crying. I was just talking to one of my friends today, and she was just really overwhelmed with looking for a job. As easy as it may sound, it is really frustrating. It's a long process, and it can get depressing. So I think keeping faith keep praying. It'll happen. Everything happens for a reason. So all the experiences you go through, all the hardships, all the rejections, all the no's you get, it'll be worth it. And that's what I tell myself. That's what I tell my friends that are, going through the same thing. It'll be worth it.
I think, one of the pieces of philosophy that was sort of given to me that I didn't understand when I first heard of it, now I do, is that if you're looking to take a job, you are setting yourself up for not necessarily failure down the line, but obsolescence down the line. You take that job, and suddenly when that job changes, if you've suited yourself to only that, it's not going to work for you. Instead, if you can make a job rather than take the job, that I think is important. If you can create a demand not for, or you don't fulfill a demand for a job that you want, right? Create a demand for the type of skills that you have, and you can always find the sort of thing that you're looking for, especially if you make those skills, or you work on the skills that you enjoy in yourself.